I had made it up. And we see here the confusion of Umar ibn Khatt's disappointment. He later remarked during his khilafah to those around him, he said that on the day of Hudaybiyah, the Prophet ﷺ put a condition on us. If any other leader had put it on me, I would never have accepted it. So he's being frank here, that if any other leader had told me that I have to give up Muslims and hand them back to the pagans who are torturing them, I would never have accepted this. He cannot understand this except that it is coming from the Prophet ﷺ. Also, Umar was not alone. No doubt Umar was the only one who went directly to the Prophet ﷺ. But the frustration and anger was common. And we have another Sahabi, Sahal ibn Hanif, a very well-known Sahabi. Sahal ibn Hanif, many years later, in the Battle of Siffin, when the Muslims were once again lined up to fight, this time other Muslims, he's trying to calm them down. And he says, O people, ayyuhan nas, always find your own opinions blameworthy over the Quran and Sunnah. Meaning, accuse your own opinions before you accuse the Quran and Sunnah. Accuse your own positions before you accuse the Quran and Sunnah. Verily, I remember myself on the day of Abu Jandal. Notice, he didn't even call it the day of Hudaybiyah. Yawma Abi Jandal. Can you imagine the emotional trauma, the shock to see this man being tortured, throwing himself to the Muslims, in front of their eyes he's taken away. The Sahaba would rather have died in battle defending Abu Jandal than willingly, meekly hand him back and go back to Medina. This is their iman here. How can we just hand him back? So the whole day has been called Yawma Abi Jandal. And Sahal ibn Hanif says, I remember myself on the day of Abu Jandal. If I could have rejected the command of the Prophet ﷺ, I would have done so. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing quote. Sahal ibn Hanif is one of the famous Sahaba. He is known for his piety, his taqwa, and many years later he confesses something to another group. Why is he opening up here? Because the Battle of Siffin was a very traumatic battle, and people were, as you know, a war was just about to be, launched between Muawiyah and Ali ibn Abi Talib, and there was a lot of tension in the camps, and Sahal wanted to calm them down and basically say, look, follow the Quran and Sunnah even if you don't understand it. Avoid the bloodshed, just obey Allah and His Messenger. Obey the ahadith of not fighting this and that. No matter how sure you think you are, accuse your own opinions before you accuse the Quran and Sunnah. اتهموا الدين على الرأي. Your own ra'i, make ittiham of that. Accuse your own opinion before you accuse the religion. And wallahi, that quote needs to be memorized by all of us, especially in this time where everybody's opinion holds more weight than what the Prophet ﷺ himself said, right? Where everybody thinks, oh, I understand this, I know this better, right? So much so that, astaghfirullah, one time in my life, I'll never forget, I met one of these Qur'aniyun, these munkar, the ones who reject hadith, right? Wallahi, what he said, it made me almost lose my consciousness at him in anger and whatnot. When I quoted him a hadith, he said that was the opinion of Muhammad ﷺ. I mean, just like mind-boggling. That was his opinion. You don't have to quote me his opinion. Wallahi, this is kufr. There's no two questions. There's no two ways about it, right? If you're going to do this, just say, that's his opinion, I have my opinion, right? This is, wallahi, it is kufr. There's no two ways about this, right? My point being, this type of attitude, even though, alhamdulillah, none of us have it explicitly, yet it is common in the ummah that when we're quoted a hadith, when we're quoted a verse of the Quran, we think, we should know better than this. We don't have to take this exact hadith, and this is not the spirit of Islam. سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا غُفْرَانَكَ رَبَّنَا وَإِلَيْكَ الْمَصِيرُ. We hear and we obey, and this is what Sahal ibn Hanif is saying, that accuse your own interpretations before you accuse the Quran and Sunnah. Accuse your own opinions before you accuse the Quran and Sunnah, because I was about to reject the command of the Prophet because I felt it to be wrong. And if I could have done it and gotten away, I would have done it. Right? And this shows us, of course, later on he himself realized that Hudaybiyah was a victory. He himself realized this was the best thing to do. But at the time, he couldn't see that. And at the time, he could only see one thing, and that is, we have lost. We have accepted humility. This is not Umar, this is Sahl. So the point is, this sentiment was not alone with Umar. There were many other Sahaba who felt the same sentiment as well.